Okay, this is Motor City Rock Talk. Today my guest is a legendary drummer, and I mean legendary drummer from the 70s and 80s. If you don't know this man and you don't know his drumming, you don't know Detroit rock and roll. My guest today is Mickey St. Clair. How you doing today, Mickey?
I am doing
Damn good.
damn good.
I appreciate you showing up today. I know you had to come a long way from Traverse City and you were in town for a few things. Appreciate you to be here. It's nice to be alive.
It is. It certainly is. Yes.
All right, Mickey, let's get right into it. As we talked a little before, I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about your background growing up. First of all, what enticed you to play drums?
Well, I was born a poor black child in the suburbs of New Orleans.
He's lying.
Let's see. I first kind of discovered the drums when my cousin Paul played the drums, and he played along to records in the basement when my family had parties at my aunt's house. Sit there and stare at them playing to Rascals and Monkeys and even Jimi Hendrix, which found Jimi Hendrix record covers fascinating.
Oh, absolutely.
I just watched and watched, and I still remember to this day how smooth he was when he played, my cousin Paul, and asked him questions, and when he was done, cousins and my uncles and aunts would actually applause, and I'd get on there and he'd show me some things, and he lost interest as he went on to college, but I kept asking about the drum set. Finally, I was able to get a paper route, and I bought that drum set for $150.
And that was a lot of money in those days. Get at a paper route.
Well, yeah, I was kid, and that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it happened to be a good quality drum set. And of course, I was a kid, and to me, it was crap. It was yellowed and mix and match, and but it was the wisdom of hindsight. WFL drums with a Slinger and Radio King floor tom, nice Zildjian cymbals, nice Ludwig snare drum, old Speed King pedal. So I kind of picked it up really quick. I could play beats really easy, and 14 years old. I immediately adapted to it. For some reason, I always thought my father wanted me to play trumpet, or when you started in band, they wanted you to play cornet instead of trumpet. So my dad wanted me to play trumpet because I thought his dad played trumpet or cornet. I made a mistake. It was clarinet as my father played. So I joined band playing cornet, and that was okay. That wasn't phenomenal, but played it in elementary school, went to junior high, still played my drums at home. Had the greatest band teacher in the world, Mr. Felice. Mr. Felice. He was just the coolest, hippest guy. I mean, he was not like any other teacher in the world. He was really into jazz. My dad was into jazz, so I grew up with these big bands. Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, Stan Kenton. My dad used to tell me stories about Stan Kenton, that he went into mental institutions because the charts he wrote were so out there.
Yeah.
And so me and Felice were, because no other kids that age were into jazz.
Right.
And I used to tell Felice that I loved the drums, that I wanted to join the jazz playing drums. He said, you can't do that. You play trumpet. You play cornet, because you got to play cornet in the jazz band. I said, well, then I want to play drums. He goes, well, it's more than halfway through the year. He goes, if you learn how to play so many scales on the marimba, then you can do it.
Are they called scales though? I thought they were called paradigals or something.
No, like on the xylophone, thank you.
Okay.
Then you can join the varsity band, not the symphony band or whatever it's called, the lower band. Right. I said, okay. I did it it was really quick. And the people in the band were like, how come he isn't in the higher band already? And joined the jazz band. And of course they did more contemporary things. They had one jazz selection that nobody wanted to play, called Jumpin' at the Woodside, which was
Woody Herman, right?
Which was a Woody Herman song.
Yeah.
And I knew it all. And I played drums in front of people for the first time.
In that jazz group.
At the school jazz band.
And that band that you got from your cousin, your uncle, that kid, or another one?
What's that?
Was that the same kid? Or
no, because some rich kid had a brand new Ludwig set.
Oh, at the school.
So I played Spinning Wheels and Jumping at the Woodside.
Spinning Wheels.
Yeah, and it's
blood, sweat, and tears for you young kids.
Yeah, yes. let's lift here. And this short, fat kid that no one ever cared about all of a sudden got applause, and holy moly, got my first little taste.
Right.
And from there, I met a couple kids at school that played guitar, and one of them sang a little bit, and my very first band was there. Before you know it, my first band was born. Rock and roll is their path.
Yeah, that was the first group.
That was the first group.
Wow.
And it was so quick. We think we played our junior high school within that year. Played on St. Gerald's dance within a couple months. That was our first gig.
Wow.
We didn't have a bass player, 2 guitar players, a singer, and me. And we were off and running. It was short. You always had your guys already that always want to be in the band that couldn't play.
Right.
So we had roadies right from the go.
Just curious, because that being your first band, how'd you come up with the name? You remember?
I think that was some kind of biblical thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was your first group, and I'm sure you played in others up to that point. Let's jump a little ahead here so we don't get too bogged down. I want to bring up David Black, or as he was known at that time.
Who's that guy?
David Nestor. The story is somewhat legendary with people that know you and know sort of. How did you meet David?
You refreshed my memory a little earlier. I kind of hear him just literally just kind of jamming by himself with a Marshall stack.
On his front lawn or something,
just someplace, and I can't recall, just all by himself. I think he was, we were young. He was a couple years younger than me, and we started talking. He was really, really into what I was into, Zeppelin days. And we just started chatting, and we got together. I always practiced in my bedroom at my mother's house. We got together, started playing with the Zeropath guys. Those Zeropath guys immediately knew that they were outgunned, kind of, went aside. We got a bass player, got a front man, John Grosjean, who was just the front man you get, long curly locks, dimples. The women loved him. Good songwriter, kind of mystical lyrics, like were the thing at the time.
Zeppelin?
Very Zeppelin-y, right in, and we were, that kind of his bluesy medieval feel.
Hard rock, obviously.
Hard rock. Yeah. Changed the name to Jasper. The slogan was Jasper, Lords of the Treasure.
Oh, that's cool.
There you go. Started doing little things like, again, we were an open club.
Right.
So we do parties, dances, and stuff like that. Did a battle of the bands that was broadcast over the local radio. One that you would think that, we were playing Global Hall back then.
Yeah.
We're so thrilled. So excited. John Grosjean moved on and playing with Madam X. Did pretty well for himself.
It sure did.
That moved on to a band called Flyin, which had another different bass player and a singer, Tommy Dimes. And this guy could sing like, holy moly. This guy was on, it just goes to show you, it's the luck of the draw sometimes, because this guy could sing like Rob Halford, Geddy Lee, Robert Plant, like everybody put together plus one.
Really?
He was about, 5'4", locks of golden, and unbelievable.
Now, was he your age, or older, or younger?
He was our age too. Yeah, he was our age. Maybe a year older. With David and with another bass player, did just a few shows together. I have some of that recorded.
Right.
Again, this is just all pretty much covers. We did do some originals in in Jasper, more than Flyin. Amazing talent.
Just cut your teeth, so to speak, into the music business part of it as far as band.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just amazing musicianship at that young age. Band called Southwest Corner. That was
That doesn't sound rock and roll.
No, it was an Alice Cooper tribute band.
Oh, I could see that.
That did exactly one gig.
Is that old school Cooper, or was it the
it was
down to Dwight Fry stuff, or earlier?
It was this was bad, terrible band that we did. Somewhere in the mix there. It's skipped a thing. We had a chance to go to Holton, Michigan to do one show at the hockey arena at the school up there, a benefit.
Yeah.
And, in front of a huge crowd.
Oh, that had to be the
Granted, just for nothing, just to do it.
Didn't matter in those days, right?
Just to do it. And this is still with Dave.
Right.
Now. And David didn't want. He said he didn't want to drive all the way up there for nothing. Wow. So me and John Grosjean and Andy Freeburn, the bass player. This is in the middle of the winter. Jeez. Holton, Michigan, folks, is in the UP.
Right.
Not Holton in the middle of the state.
Not
down
tip
there.
up town.
Yeah. This is Holton, Michigan, up in the UP.
Oh, wow.
Way up there.
Yeah.
We drove up there in the middle of the winter time, and we met the guitar player up there. Rehearsed one day. Needless to say, the guitar player was from Korea. He barely speak English.
Oh, no.
And rehearsed with him one afternoon.
Yeah.
Played this gigantic hockey arena that night. And that was televised and on the radio. And we called ourselves Mojos. And we pulled it off.
Now, was that all covers?
Covers.
You didn't have time to learn them.
No, we did Bad Company and all that
wow.
stuff. It was, and we stayed at some,
So somewhere that's got to be recorded.
I got it.
You've got it on video?
But I mean, it was definitely an experience.
Oh, big time. It would have been a big stage for anybody, let alone yourself.
Try to rehearse with a guy that can't speak your language.
How did you meet this guy then?
We had someone hooked us all up. I don't know.
Wow.
We rehearsed in the classroom. It was very strange. Yeah.
Well, a lot of your adventures seem to be strange.
Well,
in a good way. They come out good.
That's kind of what happens.
That's rock and roll.
You take a gig.
Yeah.
You know?
I imagine there's quite a few things that go on before that, but you mentioned some of the other ones and all that. I think the first thing a lot of people remember you by somewhere in that time frame is, and I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce this right, Mirrorchild. Now, where does that fit into this?
Well,
that quite a bit farther?
No, that John and I kind of had a cool bond between us. Kind of were friends, and not kind of, we were friends. David kind of went off to do his own thing. So we were, looking guitar player and bass player. We met this guy, Earl Kraft. Some of you will know as Earl, who went on to play Strut,
right.
Who from the beginning said that was his goal, basically. He loved Strut, and he always wanted to play with Strut. So Earl Kraft at the time, I don't know how he got with the bass player. We're not remembering it. Mike, maybe his name. He reminded me of John Paul Jones.
Really?
He wore the John Paul Jones type outfits.
Really? Wow. That fit the time.
Yeah. A lot of original, cool vibe, because we had a really cool band house.
Oh, yeah, the band house at that time.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Did our first gig in the basement, had a hello, this is Mirrorchild kind of thing.
Right.
Started really gigging a lot. Again, writing. And things were going well. We got management. Kind of felt like, something's going to happen here. And we're still young.
Right.
Really
young.
Yeah. I got my hair permed.
Are you talking about up?
No, it was permed. It was so silly.
It was part of the scene.
Oh, man, it was silly. It had the bangs. And,
yeah.
Man, it was just so silly.
You weren't alone. So many people did that.
Yeah, it was. But it was, we were doing our thing. And we were doing a week at the old Token Lounge there in Telegraph, 6 Mile, kitty corner from the Silverbird, which used to be the West Side 6.
You talk about 24 karat?
I'm sorry, the 24 karat. What did I say?
You said Token Lounge.
Oh, I'm sorry. 24 karat. Excuse me.
It's okay.
Really dating, right?
Right.
That's long ago. That's, hindsight. I mean, there were so many clubs to play back then. And, all you did was bitch back then about wanting to get out of it.
Right.
And you look back now, there's so many rock venues to play back then.
Yeah.
I mean, right there. You could see each other. You could see the club. Yeah. There are 2 rock clubs. You could see across. You could literally play in one club for a week, and then you'd be booked across the street for another. It was amazing how many places you could play.
Yeah.
The Rockin' Ranch. You'd think that was a country bar. No, that was a rock club. That was right down the street another 2 miles. There's so many places to play. And all we did with everybody. Oh, we got to get out of here. We're ignorant. Anyway, we were doing like a week there. And one day I come in and the drums were a little bit funky. They were moved and not a lot. So I didn't think nothing about it. Like whatever. And the next day I come in and they're changed around again. I go, this is weird. So I asked somebody and they said, well, they get on the stage every once in a while and vacuum real good or whatever. I go, okay, kind of naive still. Won't do it again. I go, this is something fishy, right? And John says, well, we hired a new drummer. What the heck? We put this band together ourselves. Well, new management decided that he wanted you out. He's going to take us on. Ron Geddish. Apparently I wasn't his type.
We won't go into that.
I don't nothing against Chad. That's fine. And I whatever it was, they must promise them the world. They changed the name to Tyrants pretty well for themselves.
And did they stay here? Or I heard they went to New York for a while. Is it?
I don't know if I'm not sure if they did or not. I know that he moved on to Ruby Red.
Right. I don't mean Chad. I mean the band.
Oh, I'm not
Somebody
sure.
had mentioned to me that was part of the deal, that they were ready to go to New York, be a band there and a bigger thing, and that's when Chad came in and took it over. So they didn't. They stayed here.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just
So where do you go from there? I mean,
for some reason, it bummed me out, but
Sure.
it wasn't. For some reason, it didn't affect me as much as I thought it was going to. When I finished in a night, probably the last night there, Chad was there, and
at the Token or the 24th?
I'm sorry, the 24 karat. I got Token on my mind. Chad was there. You walk up to him in hand and stuff. I said, good luck, whatever. And it didn't really faze me so much. So I don't really know what I didn't really feel betrayed by the band. I felt more just weird about what's going on with this Ron guy. He will haunt me later again.
So you consider this mostly just business, and you weren't going to take it as personally.
Yes.
Despite the fact that you started this group.
Yes, and I think that this because we were so young,
Right.
we really didn't know, and I think this management thing, he talked a good talk.
He railroaded it.
Yes. So that's really the story with that, and pretty much good luck to them. I had kind of something a little bit maybe on the side. One of the gigs, David and Mark came and seen the band and mentioned something to me that they're trying to do something away from what they were doing, which was called Dame, putting something together. Kind of be patient, and so seeing where that's going. And that's the Seduce thing kind of started happening. Before that happened, they began to do a thing called Sparks, female singer, her name was Gwen, and we're doing top 40 music. There's stuff I like to play better than other
Sure.
stuff, but if I'm behind a set of drums and I'm playing, pretty much don't really want to play disco.
Right. Right.
But I mean, I see if I'm watching something and there's a funk band, dang, would I like to play that?
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm just jamming at home, I'm
Right.
playing funk.
Right.
I'm doing all that stuff. I love doing all that. It's just
Different
fun.
beats and rhythms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more different stuff I'm doing. I'm listening to.
You're evolving, Mickey. You're evolving.
It's true. It really is. We're playing a lot, and in the meantime, we're still trying to cultivate what became Seduce. We're looking for a singer. Meanwhile, I went with a guy who I always call him an idea man. He always wanted to be a singer. He always sang here and there. He'd always get up sing. He can sing a couple things with Sarah Path here and there. Gigantic Alice Cooper fan. He loved B-Wave L from the Tubes. Just a great idea, guy. As a matter of fact, he just did a movie about a local artist that does theatrical art, Mark Fennell, his name is. And I thought we should get, and David knew Mark from years ago, because he'd be hanging around.
Sure.
Went to school with him. And I said, we should get Mark. And we were playing up in Port Huron, Sparks was. Play up at a place. They're all cool room. And Mark drove up from Farmington, where he lived, Port Huron, and the audition like I Don't Know by Honesty. He's a woman, she's a man. Scorpions.
Yeah.
He blew everybody's fucking mind.
Right.
I mean, and he did Highway Star, and he did it. I mean, he really, really did it. I don't think David had a clue, you know. And at that time, Mark's hair was long. He fit right into the band, and it was like, here you go. That was the birth
Final piece.
Yeah, that was the birth of Seduce right there.
First line.
You know, we were off and running. A lot of covers. Just kind of really didn't even start doing original. We're doing back in those days.
Right.
It was 4 sets a night, man.
Yes.
We're killing ourselves.
4 nights a week, maybe 5.
Yeah, killing ourselves.
Yeah.
First of all, that's a lot on a singer. And Mark was pulling it off. And he was green. You know, a guy that really has never really sang in a band, all of a sudden fronting that band.
Well, not only 4 sets, but that's a lot of lyrics to memorize. I don't imagine you guys charge okay.
And these are the days you didn't have monitors in your ear.
Right.
You know, and you're playing in front of 3 Marshall stacks and 2 SVPs and, you know, a 26-inch bass drum off stage another 2 feet, you know, banging in your ear. I mean, that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
So I thought he did a great job, and he really wanted to. The band was just, again, young. You got to kind of develop a little bit before you start writing. I think you got to get your own feel, your own groove. And I think everybody was still doing that, still kind of getting together. Mark was coming from one direction, Dave was coming from another direction. When me and Dave first started, I think we were one way, and then when Dave got with Mark, they came into a different way. One of those things. It's like when you cook a pot of soup. It's like carrots taste one way, the celery tastes this way, and the onions taste this way.
Sure.
When you cook it all together, you got to give it a few hours to make it taste good all together, and it tastes different.
Spice,
yeah, I mean that's how a band is. You got to give it some time, taste right together.
Right.
And I don't think that particular band as a whole was enough time together to become a full band. That's my opinion of the band.
Right.
I think Mark was let go too soon. I think he definitely wanted to write. It kicked out too fast because they said he wanted to write, and he didn't, you know, like Love to Hate was originally with him singing it, was Nobody Likes Me. Nobody remembers that.
Right. I sure didn't.
Yeah. And it was just, you know, basically the same song, except for Gonna Set Me Free, Nobody Likes Me. So I mean, he can write lyrics.
Do you think some of that was his writing style didn't mesh with Mark and David?
No, I don't think so. Wasn't given a chance.
Oh, just wasn't given a chance at all.
And you know, he didn't. We had a little tiny band house there on Edgewood. There was me, Mark, David, Kenny, Steve, Mike. You know, it was not a big place. They wanted him to move in. They wanted him to quit his job and live. I don't know. I mean, this is a bunch of guys, one bathroom, and no, you know, it was tough.
Right.
And he didn't want to do that. And if he didn't want to do that, they didn't like that.
They didn't think he committed enough towards it.
Yes.
Right.
So out goes Mark, and comes Johnny Rock, the English accent, saying that he was the first singer for Def Leppard, though later was just absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I'd heard that Ribbon show. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was a lie.
Yeah.
But he, you know.
How were you going to know at that time?
Right, you couldn't at that time.
Right.
There's none of that. None of this internet, none of anything like that. You know, it seems like he either liked the guy or he didn't like the guy. Some stuff I thought he could sing real good. Sometimes I thought he couldn't. He did write, though. We were writing like crazy then.
Right.
He was writing.
Did he move in?
Yeah, he did move in.
Okay.
Yeah. But he had a little bit of a drinking thing going, and when he drank, he got nasty. And I think I initiated getting rid of him because he wanted to fight me all the time when he drank. I don't know. Yeah, he did. He wanted to.
Really?
He got very confrontational all the time when he
Was
drank.
he a big guy?
No.
No?
But he got very confrontational with me all the time when he drank.
About something personal, or just because he was drunk?
Because he was drunk.
Oh,
and I don't know, it was just weird. And he wasn't in the band very long at all.
Right.
And I like the guy personally.
Right.
And he could play the hell out of the guitar too.
Oh, so he could play rhythm too.
Yeah, and he could play leads. And Dave didn't want him.
Right.
So he didn't last too long. And what's funny about that is, after I was gone, me and him put a band together for a minute and never got off the ground called White Warrior. Because we had a song in Seduce called White Warrior.
Wow.
When him and I put that band together later, he was off the booze.
Oh, I was going to say, because you had these confrontations with me, going to start a band with this guy?
No, he was off the booze.
Oh,
He married the girl that bartended at Blondie, a different person.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, he was. I don't know, and I think I said, Johnny's got to go. He's like, I can't do this. And he was in my face more than once.
No,
I mean,
get
like
you.
In my face.
Yeah, that's not good chemistry.
Watching TV, he hit in my face. So, and then Mark never wanted to go three-piece ever. He didn't want to be the singer. He wanted to sing a backup, and David was always pushing him to do that. So that's what happened there.
So there wasn't anybody else, because from what I understood, you guys did audition other people. Brian Thomas from Halloween, for example, I heard came in there for a minute, and I was just wondering why that wouldn't have been a cool mix, because he has a good voice, and he would have set himself apart. Blonde, you guys are dark hair. I heard later it had something to do with, Motley Crue had that.
I think it was once Johnny left, it was in the cards. It was going to be three-piece, and that's
okay. Didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
You got the greatest vocals.
Ian Gillan could have came down in its prime.
Okay.
And it was, Bruce Dickinson could have come down, and I don't think it would have mattered.
So you guys are rehearsing at the house and all that, the three of you. None of you have jobs. The band is playing gigs and supporting the house. Yep. And I heard that, I don't know if it was it was the sound man that also lived there but had a job and was throwing some money.
Mike Miller, who was, I don't know what you'd call him. He was kind of like, I guess he would have called himself like the road manager or something. He had the job. That was his house.
Okay.
I mean, what a nice guy. I mean, he didn't have to do any of that. Now Mike lives in California, and he makes his living selling jewelry, makes jewelry and sells the rock.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he, what a good guy. He put up a lot of shit.
So he didn't roadie for you. It was just his house.
It was his house. I mean, he helped us out. He did a lot of stuff.
Because the reason I mention that is a mutual friend of ours who we played with and all that, Mark Wolf, who I said I'd mentioned.
Yeah.
He, in his interview I did with him, mentioned that he was more or less your sidekick. He was in charge of you, he helped you, and he was more or less real roadie. That the rumor was that someone else was, I don't remember the guy's name, who eventually, when you left, became their main guy when Chuck was in the band. But that Mark moved in there with you guys, gave up his job, and he was doing all the grunt work as far as that is. Was that the case?
Well, Mike owned the house. Kenny was the white man.
Right.
And Kenny would, back in those days, I would file my sticks, sand my sticks down, and Kenny would do all that. And if my cymbals need cleaning, my drums need cleaning, Kenny would do all that.
So he was like your drum tech.
Yeah.
You shaved him?
Yeah, I would take a file to him back then.
Why?
Yeah, because the lacquer was just...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, I think back that guy was too.
Hey, you got to do whatever makes it.
I know, but people say I hate getting older, but getting older, you get so much smarter. And I think
hindsight's 2020.
What a fucking asshole I was. If he shaved him up too far, be a jerk.
Well, it's all part of the.
And the thing, and I really liked all those guys.
Right.
Kenny was. I liked all those guys. They're all cool guys.
Right. Right.
And I didn't see any of those guys after. I used to see Steve way after. The whole Seduce thing was way all done. They weren't playing for a long time. Because I became Steve's wife's real good friend. Me and Steve's wife used to hang out all the time. So I go to Steve's house, Steve and Lisa's house, and I go there, and Steve would be on the couch, and go, "Where are you guys going?" I'd hang out with her. Dick for no reason kind of thing.
To a little bit of a sensitive area. Basically let go of expired, whatever you want to call it. We talked prior to this about possible reasons and the rumors that were swirling, and I'm not going to go into that because you more or less made it clear that none of that's at the time. So you're out of Seduce. Could say for whatever reason, you go on, they go on, Chuck change. Where do you go next?
I'll say this. They fired me at 4 in the morning. I went to the Lana's house, and I called Chuck, first person I called. And I said, Chuck, I just got fired, or what he said. I go, do you have any idea of taking my place? He goes, yeah, I am. Years later, when they fired him, he called me first thing. And I go, you know what's happening right now?
Say that.
And I go, you remember when I got fired? I called you. Anyway, when that happened, I got a call from Kenny from Loud House, Kenny Mugwub, Kenny, Monroe, Kenny Greenbaum.
Yeah, went to the sponge eventually.
Yeah. And still my buddy. He was playing with Mike Kovalash, plays with Howling Mercy now.
Right.
My old blues band, who I actually went to see last night. They had a band together called Ragdolls. Kind of a, I don't know, kind of loosey-goosey rock and roll band. And their drummer, Louis Simon, was playing bass. We played with bands and played with Graverobbers and played with all a billion East Side bands forever. And I went over there and joined that band. And I want to say that we played
the Token Lounge.
You're funny, Dad. You're funny, Jim. I think we played it actually. I think we played with McKinney.
This was the Ragdoll.
Ragdoll.
Right. Yeah.
But then me and Mike, our player, ended up playing together.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
And Louie and Jimmy Bones. I mean, we played together 8 years, something with different.
That is the Jimmy Bones that went on to play with Kid Rock, correct?
Yeah. Robert Bradley and then Kid Rock. Yes. We played together for a long, long time.
Right.
That band kind of worked into the thing. I got a call from. I did one gig with Liars, Cheats, and Thieves, which was who's the glam band from Detroit?
Trash Rat?
Trash Brats. Liars, Cheats, and Thieves.
Yes.
Their other identity. Ricky and those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys were all super cool. I'm not sure if I must have rehearsed. And I like that stuff. That's just not like my gig.
Right.
I thought it'd be fun to do. I'll never forget. I can't recall the guy's name, the singer of that band. We were at the Ritz, and my first wife were friends with all those guys.
Yeah.
And we're playing, and the guy jumping like crazy, jumping around like crazy, going crazy on stage. He jumped up and he landed right on my bass drum. And he looked up at me like a dog in headlights. Goes, "I'm sorry, man.
Don't kill me."
So I just did the one thing with them, and then the whole thing with Strut happened, and they called Jimmy Wheels, guitar player.
Yeah.
Strut was so cool when they're just slop,
Very raw.
They were a cool band. Then they got Earl from Mirrorchild.
Yeah.
And they kicked out Jack Hammer.
Yeah. Best frontman.
He was the guy, man.
Yeah. Everybody wanted him.
They were badass.
Yes.
They kicked him out, and I don't know how this all transpired because I came in. I got a call back and from Mike Ragdolls.
Right.
It was Mike and Louis Simon from Ragdolls and Jimmy Bones, who went on,
Right.
And me and Jack Hammer formed Jack Black. And holy cow, here I am again. This is going to be big. This is going to be This is going to be the big thing like Seduce again.
Yeah, because you got this phenomenal frontman, tight band.
Yeah, and all these fucking great musicians here.
Yes.
I go, this is going to be the shit here.
Yeah.
And we got a slew of originals, and we got originals from the band. We got originals from another band, and we got Strut.
Right.
So, and we got stuff in the can that's ready that we haven't even messed with yet.
Yeah.
And we got Joan Jett stuff, and we do some other stuff too.
Sure.
And we already got formerly of Strut, formerly of Seduce.
Right.
We already got people in Chicago looking at us.
Yeah, you're a new super group out of Detroit, basically. Yeah.
So, and Jack he was just one of the coolest fuckers ever. I mean, he didn't put up with no shit, and it was just, he was a fun guy to hang around. First, Louis wasn't in the band. It was Chris Mark. I don't know if you know Chris Mark. And Chris, I always got along with Chris. Jack didn't get along with Chris. There's some kind of friction there. I think Chris maybe got this all organized, and there's some kind of thing going on there. And we were done rehearsal one day, and Jack was a pretty badass. Yeah, Chris got a little too lippy with him one day outside of practice, and in about 3 seconds flat, Jack freaking decked him with the right hook. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. Oh my God, it was
beautiful.
It was just unbelievable. And we got Louis, and Louis is a little bit more solid anyway.
Right.
I love Louis.
Right.
I never seen nothing like that. And Chris got up, "I'm gonna sue your ass." And
Out of here.
Jack had this laugh. We did that WLOZ broadcast.
Yeah.
Of course, I had 103 temperature when we did.
Was that actually broadcast? Was that?
Yeah, it was a live broadcast.
I'll have to listen, see if that's out there.
Yeah, it's out there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
they had some problems with the audio at first. And we used to do that song, freaking Jack Black. We're getting fucked up, right? But he couldn't do that.
Right.
So you go,
Not on the radio.
We're getting funked up and everything fucked up.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
and Jack got hammered that night. And he goes, "Oh, you didn't think we could do it over the radio? Get yourselves a round of applause." that night, Jack, he didn't get drunk on stage, but that particular night,
Right.
everybody was giving him shots of Jack, right? So Jack, and you could tell him when he was singing, he was laughing and repeating himself and he's laughing. That night he was so fucked up, I had to take him home. I took him home to my mom's house, and he was fucking puking. He was on his hands and knees. I'm sorry, Jack. His pants were pulled down to his ankles, right? He was on his knees. He was puking in a toilet, and
Edit this part out. That could get a little bit too graphic.
and I put it on there so he'd pee in the toilet.
Right. Didn't want to piss Mom off.
Yeah, right. So it was, and we did a lot of, we played in Canada a lot. I played in Canada a lot.
That was a lot easier.
Yeah, and a lot of played back in those days. We played in Canada a lot. That was so too.
Right.
They had Canada. It'd be strip bars in the day, and they shut it down, and it'd be rock and roll bars at night. So at the daytime, like in Leamington and stuff, they give you a room, so you could go down and watch strippers in the daytime if you want, and watch TV and lay in your room daytime, or go walk around. Where Leamington's got the national park, the lowest peninsula in Canada. Or all those, we played a lot of those coastal towns in Canada there. So it was a really cool band. Remember why that band broke?
That doesn't say that.
I don't remember why it broke up. There's no.
Was it sudden or was it gradual? Do you even remember that?
I don't remember.
The last gig you might have played in?
I don't remember what exactly happened. I think that it's something to do with Jack, because Jack just kind of bowed out or something. The same band stayed together, and Mark Fennell came back. Basically, Jack Black turns into the band, and it's not a band that's going to get signed. Fun band ever see. It's like a complete show band.
Right.
Because Mark Fennell, the idea man,
Right.
the Fee Waybell, the Alice Cooper, now shows up with all his hair chopped off, but putting on Buddy Holly glasses, playing a fake guitar, love songs, and I'm calling out from behind the drums, going into a dressing room, coming out with the dress and trying to seduce him, doing the love songs.
You must have been a sight in a dress, Mickey.
I have pictures. Now we have, Louis could sing like a bird, Jim can sing like a bird. Now we have 3-part harmony, 4 sets a night. We're rehearsing 3 and 4 nights a week, busting our ass. So these songs are tight. We're doing like stuff, doing Turtle songs and these, 60 songs that acquire these great harmonies.
Yeah.
And we're good, flat out.
You're playing
good.
everywhere with this band too?
Playing everywhere. And we're good. And it's fun because we love each other.
Not about a lot of ego problems.
No ego. We love each other, and we are good, and we know.
Oh, that's
and coming to practice 3-4 nights a week, it's not work. It's fun. We enjoy what we're doing.
Being together and doing that.
I talked to Mark not too long ago. Pushing us. When we finish a song, you're going 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. Go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
But that's what you do. If you want to be good, you got to practice. You can't. Okay, let's get to that next week.
Yeah, let's stop. Take a 30-minute break.
Yeah. Okay, let's practice our hour and a half. An hour and a half. I'm not even loosened up in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's time to sweat.
Yes.
So that band was a lot of fun too, man. I mean, that, everything about that band was fun. I mean, the stuff I gave you, that thing that we had, you plugged this in, we kept you cool. Just that's all Mark's
the fans. Yeah,
Mark's
I get it.
funness.
Right.
Right. just as far as even Mike's having the different tones for the different sounds of different things, whatever. What you want to just call us a bar band, so be it. Best bar band you ever,
It was, it sounds to me like it was original in so many different aspects.
Yeah.
Not just the music you were playing, but you're doing this and that and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Probably almost like a different show every night because of a lot of that.
Yeah. But it's still, with the basic, all of us having that rock background. I still got my big set with a 26-inch bass drum. I'm still letting it have it when it needs to be had.
Right, of course.
So it's cool.
A lot of people thought one of your biggest rock drum influences, and I wanted to see if this was true or not. I kind of looking at you, hearing you play, thought it was because of all the different styles. John Bonham. Mm-hmm. Would you say he influenced you as far as rock drumming? I know you had the jazz stuff come in, but I mean the way you approached it as a rock drummer. I mean, you weren't just playing, simple shit, the snare and whatnot. You were playing with your hands. You made the drums to me listenable as far as a solo. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So many of them were just like, let's get flashy. And you made it interesting. I could listen to a 20-minute drum solo of yours, thoroughly be entertained because this guy can play it all. So was Bonham something that influenced you as far as that, would you say?
I'd say that having a talk about John Bonham. When John Bonham was, no one gave John Bonham any credit.
Oh, you're right.
And it's always
it's all Neil Peart.
Yeah. He is phenomenal. He's so good that people still don't know how good he is, and the little pushing and pulling he does, which gives all that feel. It's so what nice he does. But he can do really nice snare stuff and stuff. John Bonham, Ian Pace, Steve Purple, and Posey Powell.
Oh my God!
Still totally denied.
Oh yeah.
And I don't really dig double bass. But Posey, when Posey does it, he does it for a purpose. But Posey's great on the snare drum that no one ever says. Now he's just and just the way Posey hacks his drums. There's a way to hit a drum, and there's a way to hit a cymbal. You don't even realize how the way to hit a cymbal, a drum, how to hit it with your wrist, with your hands, and even like the guy I went. I'm a little anal about this, but I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
You just watch everything about how the wrist moves with the forearm, how the forearm moves with the upper arm, how the cymbal actually moves when it gets hit, right? And the way a cymbal is hit, you could hit a cymbal and get a different sound every time you hit it. The same dang cymbal.
Right.
Depending on where you hit it on the stick, depending on where you hit it on the cymbal. Sure. You see a rival Sons drummer, Mike, and he's a brilliant Bonham Ash. Plays a little bit too much sometimes. He is. I'm not denying him.
Right.
Drum solo was a little trip. I've heard him play a little better, but I watch him hit his cymbals, and he just smashes them. He don't need to hit them so hard. He's got a small 16 up here, and I watched him. That's one thing I think he doesn't do right. He smashes his cymbals when he plays so fluently on everything else. He's such a good player. He's gonna. He must go through cymbals for crazy.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't know if it can be taught or just something that's natural. Yeah. He hits the cymbals, and when he comes down like that. He doesn't go dun. And on drums too. And you get a different sound like that. And you watch guys like Bonham and Pace.
Right.
Pace plays so beautifully. Oh my God. And Pace plays a little bit more of a jazz influence than Bonham does.
Oh yeah.
But if you hear, recently, in the last 5 years, I've really been into Joe Morello, the drummer.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, yeah.
From You've Got It to Take 5.
Yes.
Dave Brubeck.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that guy's. I was watching him. I go, Bonham must love this guy. Right. Sure enough, then I get an interview from Bonham's son. He goes, oh man, Daddy loved Joe Morello. I go,
makes sense.
He did all that hand stuff.
Yeah.
Joe Jones, oh my God, those guys are amazing.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes those rock drummers, they just, I like Don Brewer from Grand Funk.
Right.
I like him when he plays music. His drum solo is ridiculous. He plays the same drum solo as he did 30 years ago, and it's all triplets. It's so dumb.
Right. It's just like once they get locked into something, they don't want to move away from it.
Yeah.
And that's where more talented drummers that, like we used to it before, can evolve based on past listening and influences can see this and put it in their style.
Yeah.
And that's what always set me apart as far as listening to you play, because I've heard some good drummers. I played with good drummers and stuff that could sit up there and do all that flash all night long. When it was said and done, it wasn't original in any way. Maybe it fit the band style and the time of whatever it was, but you want to hear somebody do something a little different more. But anyway, we don't have to get too much more into that. You made it perfectly clear.
I get excited.
And you should. You should. Anyway, so Jack Black, the fans, we're moving forward here. What comes up after that?
Jimmy put a band together after the fans. Well, I think after the fans, he went off and he might have did the Robert Bradley thing, the blind guy. I think he might have did something with him. And then he put his own thing together called Jimmy Bones and the Graverobbers.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what we were doing. I don't know exactly what I was doing. It seems like in those days I never stalled. And we all got back together again. He said, "Hey man, we played together too long for your name to be ahead of our name. It's just going to be called the Graverobbers."
Right.
And we went into the studio, Schoolhouse Studio in Ann Arbor, recorded Henry Weck from Brownsville Station, opened in the boys' room, co-owner of that place. Recorded, 6, 7, 8 songs, all original songs. Song on there that you must hear called Mama's Little Baby that I graciously tell you I sing, and it's a very, very, very punk song. It's very...
But you're not a punk, Nick.
No, but it's very punk. We played around a lot of shows, a lot of East Side shows. It seemed kind of an East Side band.
Right.
I know that sounds weird, but Jimmy's an East Side guy. And
I know there's a difference between East and West.
It had a kind of an East Side vibe to that band. And right after that, I don't know. I played. I got some stuff written down here. Let's keep referring to. There's stuff in between and everything. I played with a band called Identity Crisis, which was just that 3-piece band. We all looked like we didn't belong in the same band, and we made a little bar band, but great musicians that got together. In 2 seconds, we're out gigging and playing our asses off. I was working a day job and playing at night.
What kind of day job does Mickey get? What kind of day job does Mickey St. Clair, after going through all this shit and all these different adventures, actually gets a day job? I didn't think you ever had a day job.
I was driving a really cool little kind of a hot rod car, working for a place called IT Unlimited, like they're a printing place, and they print stuff, letterheads and stuff for companies.
Okay.
So I just deliver stuff around. So it was kind of cool. I pretty much here, how you doing today? And got I have my yapper, so it was my perfect gig.
Yeah. You could listen to music in the car while you're driving.
Oh yeah. It was cool. The people I worked for were cool. And then that got me, I started doing some artwork for them. So there was a big place down in a strange little area, it was called Skippy Candle. And they had like mystical stuff in there, candles, kind of occult stuff in there. And they had this little booklet come out every month and had all these like numbers to choose, like for luck. And I designed the covers for them. And I could only use 2 colors. So like for November or October, let's say, for like a Halloween theme cover.
Right, sure.
So I got to do some of my art.
Yeah.
Besides all that, I'm an artist.
Oh, and he's a great artist.
So I got to do that. I went down to Atlanta. He actually stood up in my wedding. So he's a good friend. His whole family is. I went down to Atlanta. Within literally days, I joined a country band, a real.
Oh no!
Hank Gallops and the Dirt Road Band. And this guy had success. He had a Southern type hit. How they regional.
Right.
Back in the 80s. I went out to his place in Winder, Georgia, northeast of Atlanta, and he was the real deal, man. He was about 6'4", leather cowboy hat, leather vest, kicker boots, the real deal, big old beard, and played the fiddle, real country music. Right. I'm not talking about, freaking Sherry Underwood or whatever,
right.
Carrie Underwood.
Right.
and play with them. You know what, make you know, I mean, he really liked me. And so he brought his bass player wasn't there, and so I came back the next day. Left my drums there. Came back the next day. His bass player was there. Wow, right? On my way, and we were just like that too. Just bam. Next thing you know, I'm in Alabama. Then I'm in St. Simon's Island. Then I'm in Brunswick. Then I'm just playing everywhere.
You have to change your drum style around, obviously, to play this. Maybe simplify your kit.
I played. I had a Gretsch kit at the time. I still got the same kit.
Well, I can't imagine you're playing the drums in the style of like some of these other bands with a country band. So
no, yeah, I just you know, I'm just
not playing as loud. Probably.
No. But I'm playing those country bars like you see in the movies with the balcony all the way around the top.
Yeah.
And people doing the line dancing, smashing the bottles on the ground.
Did any of those things like in the Blues Brothers where they had the chicken fence in front of you? Play rawhide.
No, but you know, I tell you what, you know, this one place, I think it was Dalton, Georgia. He said to me, Hank goes, make sure you don't even have one beer from here and drive back home. I ended up moving to a little flat right behind his house for $200.
Well, you said he was getting you a job, or was going to get you.
Somebody would. No, that was TJ.
Oh, okay.
That was in Stone Mountain.
Right.
But he says, make sure you don't even have one beer when you leave this bar. Not one. And I did. Sure enough, I got pulled over. And cop goes, you know, my hair was a little bit long.
Right.
And he goes, what are you doing around these parts with that neckerchief and shit? Yeah, you've been drinking, son. Just the typical thing.
Yeah.
Where you coming from, son? You know, the whole thing, you know. I mean, it was just exactly how you think it'd be.
Right.
You know, Hank said, you know, whatever you do, wherever you go down here, keep that cowboy hat on because that'll save your ass.
Right.
I had the long hair. You know, one time I went back to the hotel room and there's, I don't know how they know it, but there's kiss prints on my mirror inside. And then come back the next night, girl was waiting for me in my bed.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hillbilly girl. I go, honey, I don't want no part of you.
No offense, but
I had to make out with her at least to get her out. It was weird as hell. It was so crazy. We played everywhere.
Were you? How were you paid as far as that? Were you considered like
I was paid a lot,
or were you just paid based on the gig?
I was paid out of the gig, but I was paid cash, and I made a lot of money in that band. A lot of money.
So that afforded you the money to buy all your fancy cowboy threads and all that.
It's funny because I bought a cowboy hat. I had a cowboy hat before I left to go down there.
Right.
I bought a cowboy hat, and I don't know why I just must have knew I'm going to join a country band. And I'm looking at the ads. It's like the version of Metro Times or whatever it is, and looking for drummer. 13 Pagan Place. I'm like,
that's an interesting.
Yeah. So.
And where was this exactly?
This was in Atlanta, Georgia.
Still okay, Atlanta. Still okay.
And call the number and get directions. And it's I think it's called the Warehouse District. You can actually see like where the Braves play.
Yeah.
When the lights go on.
Yeah.
And it's a big warehouse, and it's upstairs, visible around there, and it's just, big, metal door, and I'm knocking at it, and this guy comes down, opens it, and I'm telling you, he's like super short. His hair's half the length that he is, pale as a ghost. He's got black lipstick, and got a ring in his eyebrow going down to his ear. And again, this is in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Too much of that. Got a black sweater, turtleneck, and black pants down and black boots. Sweet. And these stairs look like
something out of a horror movie.
Yeah, if you were a little bit stoned, if they're a little bit not right, and there's a lot of them to carry up a bunch of drums.
Right.
And a loaded trap case.
So you're thinking, God, what am I getting myself into?
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
carry this shit. I might not come out alive.
Yeah. And you get up there, and of course the walls are, flat black.
Yeah.
And you get up there, and it's just like this huge room with these crazy gargoyle things on the walls, and and some, like stuff for soundproofing, and this old beat up couch, and this is gonna be terrible, or this is gonna be freaking awesome. And a little corner stage,
Right.
for your drums and stuff. And the singer comes out, and he looks super tall, long haired guy. The keyboard player comes out, he looks like like something out of a Cure.
Right.
Bass player comes out, got a little beanie hat on, a little goatee, like that, really soft spoken, and it was just some cool shit.
I was like, it was surreal.
Yeah, it was just pretty much instantly cool.
Especially coming from my country, man.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that was weird, I guess, was there was one song called "Will Autumn Ever Come," and it was just a very cool song. They recorded it. I went to the studio before, and it's the drums that like down, like the guy had a big set of drums, right?
Right.
And I'm a different drummer.
Right.
And I was doing that, but it just wasn't smooth and fading like this guy was. Like,
was he using rototones?
I don't know, but it just didn't sound like him, and I just don't sound like him. It's just not the same. It's just not the same, and he's from South Carolina.
Yeah.
It's just not the same as he did it. I go, well, I'm doing the same thing. First of all, it's a different drum set I got.
Yeah, big time.
One rack tom and 2 floor toms.
Right.
I don't have, 12, 13, 14, 16 people, but I got a bunch of them. It's just not the same, man. I said, I'll keep trying to work on it. Will autumn never come? And it was a really beautiful song. So kind of set me for a loop. And the other guys were saying, it's fine,
Yeah.
So we ended up actually never doing that song.
Oh.
But everything else was awesome. And right then we started playing all over freaking Atlanta, playing this big place called the Masquerade, which was just incredible. Masquerade was downstairs was hell, middle was purgatory, and upstairs was heaven.
Really?
And all the big bands played there. I've seen Smashing Pumpkins there. We opened up for some national acts there. I mean, right there, I was just playing in the venue there, right from the start. Huge place.
You get into something that takes off right away, see, because you're like gold to these people.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then we get Kurt, the singer in that band, who I'm still really close to. He lives in Kansas City now. It was freaking magic. He gets a call from a friend of his in New York, and she gets some gigs in New York City, and we gather up a few gigs on the way up, on the road in this brown van, heading up, doing gigs on the way up to New York, and playing gigs up to New York, and go in the studio and record some stuff in like one take, which you'll hear.
Right.
He's thinking good if they ask. That's the best stuff I ever did. Yeah, and what's weird is I did that. I met my son, who was born elsewhere, and I met him for the first time, and I took him to the airport, which obviously back where he's living.
Right.
And I went right there, and I was crying, and I went right there, dropping off the airport to record. So it's damn good. And the first song on that tape, on that CD, you could tell I'm a little shaky, I think. I can tell, maybe not you, but it came out. The fifth song, which is actually, it doesn't cut up, so the fourth song is the fifth song. But that band was great, just absolutely great. Had such a good time, and everything something always has to happen. Just come back from New York, and man, we're all feeling high as hell, and the guitar player is from Brazil. He's a strange little character, really funny.
Is that the one you got? It was like 4 feet tall with the long hair.
Yeah, he used to, when our little sleepy motel in Jersey, stand on his head on the bed, right? Then he'd put the book on the bed and he'd read upside down. Okay. So the book was on the bed.
Yeah, I get why you're saying.
And read upside down.
Well, the blood would go to his brain. And he could really developed it now. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now we come back and I don't know. His name was Fabian, and
His name was what?
Fabian. Yeah.
Like the guy from the 50s.
Yeah, Fabian. Yeah. And it just he kind of just kind of went away. He just kind of no one knew where he went. He left.
Disappeared.
Just disappeared, and we got this other guitar player who was a really cool guy. The bass player was from Ann Arbor, believe it or not. And we got this other guitar player, but he was kind of more of a metal guy, and this is kind of almost on a grunge thing. And I like that stuff, but that's not where it was. That wasn't what the band was.
Right.
And then the bass player, Marcus, he didn't feel it either. And then we got another bass player, and now this is a whole new thing. This wasn't it.
Right.
And I got some of that on tape. I didn't bring it.
It lost its original identity.
It wasn't the same thing. Yeah. It became like some kind of grungy metal thing, and Kurt's really operatic type voice became kind of an angry thing, and I'm not there at all. Right. And I couldn't do that. Even though me and Kurt were still cool, I was trying to kind of hang on. We went to see John Campbell, the blues guitarist, and he blew my mind. And I told Kurt, he blew my mind. I told Kurt, I'm moving back to Detroit and putting a blues band together. I told my buddy Mike from the Fans, from Graverobbers, from Ragdolls.
Yeah.
I said, Mike, if I move back to Detroit, want to put a blues band together named Howling Mercy? I said, I'm moving back to Detroit.
Did he know the reference when you were talking about Howling Mercy? I know that's a song, isn't it, from John Campbell?
That's his third record.
Right.
And that's just what we did 35 years ago. And they're still playing. They played last night.
Yeah. So, obviously, we did little stints here and there after that, in between that, all that stuff. Got to a major motorcycle accident
that happened.
That hurt you big time and put you pretty much out of commission. But you're back, you're healthy, you gave up the booze. And
I've been almost 2.5 years I quit drinking. 15 years ago I had a motorcycle accident everything was really good. Going to work on a day I didn't have to work, going to tattoo. Old lady hit me 85-year-old hit me head on my motorcycle. Got life flight at Toledo. Was in a hospital bed for many, many months. So 15 years ago, and I just had another operation in last October. So I'm in pain all the time. I would say it's unfortunate that I did get hit by Coca-Cola truck and made billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So I didn't make a lot of money. But I just before that, in 2001, I bought a modular home. So I put the trailer back on the modular home, about 5 acres up north. And, my apartment's up there. I've been going up there since I've been knee-high to grass on it.
Right.
So it's just outside of Traverse City. So I have Traverse, then I can only, telling your wife, I can sit on my front porch naked and no one can see me.
And do you do that?
I do, all the time. Yeah, I do. I drive to the mailbox on my four-wheeler in my holy underwear. I'm gonna walk around my house, outside of my house all the time, naked. No, it's an old Christmas tree farm, so I'm surrounded. I can't see anybody's house. There's houses around me, but I'm surrounded by woods.
Right.
So there's can't be no more development.
Right.
I don't have no telephone poles. Everything's underground. So I can look up my backyard and I see a fox. I see a deer. There's bear. It's gorgeous.
Right.
It's beautiful. I'm kind of in the middle of the hills there, really hilly there, and beautiful. And Traverse City is beautiful.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
There's water. I'm right by the Manistee River. It's a stone throw away. So
that's a beautiful part of Michigan. Probably the nicest part of Michigan. It really is.
It's stupid. I got this nice car now. It's convertible.
Mickey's Maserati. Yeah.
So, and a couple years back, I was really, I haven't played with a couple bands up there that were not so great, and really getting frustrated, really drinking hard. Marriage almost broke up. On a winter morning, I got on my four-wheeler, said I'm done. Gallon of whiskey, a bunch of nasty beers. heading towards the woods to drink a gallon of whiskey and a bunch of nasty beers and freeze to death and drink as much as I could till I froze to death. And where I was going, no one was going to find me. I was going to commit suicide. And I stopped at the library and played flag. For what reason, I don't really know. Julie was the head librarian there, and I was friends with her. She was thinking I was a mess. Brian had scared. I mean, I had a nervous breakdown. She goes, "You're not going to leave here. I'm going to get you right home." Of course, I did. And I don't know, I had a brain injury with my accident. I was having seizures, and I think I was having seizures and didn't even know it. Now I'm on medication. I haven't had any, but I might have had a seizure on the four-wheeler. I don't exactly know what happened. I flipped it, and I had a plow on it, so it'd be pretty hard to flip. But something happened right outside the library on a hill there. I think I know the cops were there. Put me in a drunk tank, suicide watch, and that was the last time I drank. And I was laying there, and I remember thinking, this is about it. This is the lowest ever been, ever. What the hell did I do? So this is not right. This is not good. What did I do to myself? Paid for it. And
what's in the future for you? Do you have any plans? I mean, I know you want to play with Howling Mercy and all that.
That's not happening.
It's not going to happen?
Not going to happen. They got the old guy back. That's kind of working out. They're afraid that it's too much of a distance. Rightly so. I'm looking for something up there. Like, I don't.
But you need to play.
I want to play. I don't even know how to go about even finding something these days.
Exactly.
I want to play. I don't even know how I found the things I found up there before. So I'm gonna. I mean, there's venues up there. Traverse City is so much bigger now than it was.
Yeah, of course.
I got to find something. I mean, I don't know. I'm dying. Are you kidding me? I'm dying to.
Well, maybe you can find another country band.
Another what?
Another country band.
I'll play anything.
A hillbilly band, ragtime band, or go back to your roots, Mickey, and find a jazz group.
I would love to play with a bass player, and upright bass player, and a piano player.
Yeah.
But I can't get too crazy because I'm not that good at jazz. I'm not crazy. I mean, I can play just simple stuff.
Yeah, but
that would be fun.
It would be fun because that sounds to me like that's pretty much the only thing you haven't done.
Yeah.
As far as your bucket
Well,
list.
I still got my Gretsch set, 24, 14, 16, 18, but I'm playing this little Ludwig kit, a 20, 12, and a 14 by 14.
Yeah.
And it's a bitch of a. And listen, don't let no one fool you. That kick can be loud too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just kind of playing them. But that's such a nice little set, I just want to fucking play, man.
Of course, and they should.
You know.
Anyway, Mickey, I'm going to end this with just ask you one last thing. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Is there anything that we didn't cover that maybe you'd like to bring up as far as anything, like life goals or regrets or anything at all?
Regrets?
Yeah. Or to say to your legion of fans that are out there.
Legion.
Because they're really
No one remembers this old man.
Yes, they do. You would be surprised. Even on the Seduce fan page, which is worldwide, your name still comes up.
No.
And that was set up.
Take the E off, or put the E on it. It's St. Clair with an E, folks. And what is that, Wikipedia thing?
Yes.
Metal Wikipedia.
Yes.
It's just, you punch it up. Do you mean? And it takes the E off.
Well, those can be fake. People mess with those all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I don't know. Just, I don't know what to say. I just gotta, everybody just, I was just driving down here and just, first down to, I don't know what word is.
It's improved quite a bit over 30, 40 years.
It sure has. I haven't been down there in about 30 years.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah. I just, on the flip side of that, we can all do better, can't we?
Of course.
We can all do better.
That's the ultimate goal for everybody.
No, I mean, this is fun to do. I'm glad we did it. I was excited to do it.
Well, I'm really glad you did, Mick, and I'm going to edit some really cool these pictures, these videos, and like the guy from the movie Almost Famous.
Oh my gosh.
Remember that movie?
I own that movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Don't worry, buddy. I'll make you look cool. Not that you need anybody to make you look cool. When that guy said, "Kid, do whatever you want, just make us look cool."
Yeah.
You'll look cool. Anyway, this has been Jimmy Jive with my special guest today, the legendary Mickey St. Clair, saying, as I always like to say, and more so with Mickey being here, keep rocking.